Pete here with the smallbusinessresourcecenter.com. Just wanted to follow up on some of the questions I've been getting. One of the things is how do I get more engagement with social media? And what I created here is how to post on Facebook to grow your business. This is actually good for any type of social media. So it's basically a social media checklist to grow your business. One of the most important things is, of course, engaging content. When you're looking at having a business page, you have to have something that people are going to be interested in and something people are going to want to look at. But you don't want to be too pushy. That's the one thing you have to keep in mind. If you're too pushy, they're just going to feel like you're jamming stuff down your throat. One example is I have a mutual friend who had a business. They posted, as soon as they got in the morning, they posted 5 or 6 things that happened during the course of the day. The one thing they seemed to post quite often was every time somebody complained, probably a bad idea, definitely a bad idea. Eventually, a lot of people that I know said, I'm just going to unfollow this person. I have nothing against them personally, but people really don't want you to jam stuff down their throat all the time, especially if it's negative. So when you're looking at having social media, me being a real estate agent, of course, I try to post everything positive. If you're a real estate agent, you would notice too that often there's problems in the business. 99% of the time, a problem in my real estate business doesn't get put on social media because of the simple fact that despite the fact that problems are normal in the real estate business and you have to overcome them, if all you do is post this happened, that happened, this is a headache, people are going to start to look at you negatively and say, well, maybe you're the problem. And sadly, that's not always the case. Same thing if you have a restaurant or whatever, if you start posting and telling people that you didn't like this customer, you didn't like that person, or someone didn't show up, people are going to start to look at that as a negative impact and people don't want to hear it either. Honestly, they don't. So when you're looking at the social media checklist, basically this is set up for a beginner so you can understand it. First thing you do, of course, once you have an audience, that's the first video you might have watched, how to grow your business page. You plan out the next quarter of information. So when you're planning out the information, you got to look at what you want to do, like if you're going to offer specials, what you want to tell people, what type of message that you want to bring. And so you want to plan that out in quarters. So every month, 1, 2, 3, this is what I'm going to try to explain to people. This is what I want to show people, whatever you think would be important. Next, you have a general monthly guideline once you have your quarter set up for content that you're going to write. So of course, this can be very broad, but you just write it out. This week I want to go over these things, which I feel is important. Or month 2, month 3, do the same thing. And if you need to, you can set up a new campaign for a segment. And that's why I put if needed here. When you're looking at a page like I have, the Small Business Resource Center, we have the main business page. You'll notice the difference between a business page right here. And then if you go to another page, which would be a group page, the difference between a group page and a business pages are designed for a business so they can advertise. And that's basically how Facebook has it set up. A group page technically is kind of like a free page, not really set up for advertising, but sometimes if you have a business page, like let's just say our Small Business Resource Center decided to do classes. Most of the stuff we have, by the way, is online download. It's do-it-yourself information that you can download, use, like videos, audios, motivation stuff, music, you name it, it's there. But when you're looking at this, like let's just say if we did do classes, I might have a separate group for the classes, and that would be what you would have as a group. The reason why we do that is because you can't share all the information with people who are not part of the group. So that's why you would set up a group. It's not going to pertain to everybody, but it could work for you if you need it. So you could have separate campaigns for segments Or, a segment could also be things that you want to explain to certain people. Weekly, you want to make sure you're planning your content a week ahead of time. The reason why is you want to have some consistency in your business. You want to try to get the content out there so people can see it. A lot of times, if you don't post for a very long time, you start to lose your audience. So you want to make sure you're ready a week ahead of time. Also, what you'd like to do is make sure your new contacts are segmented correctly. If you basically get anybody into the system, make sure they're where they need to be. When you're with Facebook, of course, with groups, they basically have ways to segment it so you can filter people in here. You can actually set it up so you have questions like, how did you hear about the group? Give me your email address. A lot of times people do that with paid groups to make sure they actually paid and they're part of the group. There's some way to verify it. The other important thing when you're looking at social media and growing your business is your daily tasks. When you look at a business and reviewing what I said before, it's not always about you. If all you're going to post about yourself, post about your business, people don't want to hear your message all the time. No matter what it is, more than likely, they don't want to hear it all the time. So one of the best strategies is when you have new people that you've added, try to look for something meaningful to comment. That doesn't mean you just like 10 posts a day and you don't say anything. That's not meaningful. Somebody's birthday might be today. You can say, hey, happy birthday. Let's just say if you have a restaurant, you can say, hey, come on in. I'm going to make you a free pizza or something. So you can find something meaningful. Let's use restaurants again. If you see somebody who liked your page and they went somewhere else, you can say, hey, that's a great hamburger. How do you think it compares to ours? And if they say they're not sure, ask them to stop in. There's a lot of things you can do that would be a meaningful post that somebody may want to be more attracted to your business page. And then it says peruse relevant posts for potential reposts. When you're looking at any business, typically what's going to happen is eventually you're going to run out of content. I see this happen Instagram, YouTube, especially. A lot of times YouTube creators, after a couple years, they stop, or some of them start broadening what they originally started trying to show people, because eventually you're going to run out of content. You can reuse content. A lot of times people do that after a while, but what you need to do is you can't just stop. You got to keep in mind, if you start today, 2 years later, people aren't going to exactly remember. So a lot of people reuse content. You may want to refresh if it's a video or post, might not want to copy it exactly, but reusing content's not a problem. A lot of people do it, but you do have to have some consistency. So the Small Business Resource Center, our website's going to have about 200,000 articles and brand content that you can use. So if you go to the site, whatever your industry is, you can look there, probably find something that will work for content. And personal follow-up tasks. One of the best strategies, of course, if you're self-employed, is not to be on social media all day, because you have to run your business. You have a lot of things to do, but that doesn't mean you can't follow up. If you don't follow up with people, they're on your page and you post a special and somebody replies, hey, is this today? If you don't respond, that's going to be negative. You want to respond. But of course, you can't be in front of the computer all the time. So you want to make sure you plan out when you can respond. Or if you don't have something to do, you want to jump on for 5 minutes, double check your notifications, respond to anything you have to, get back to work. What I don't recommend is being online all day, because of course, unless you have some type of business that's generating all your business online, most of the times you can't spend all the time on social media. Other things, don't post about religion. Don't post about politics. They say they're the worst things to post about. So you may want to keep that in line as far as a strategy. Whenever you talk negatively about or positively about your real religion and preferences, you could alienate people. So it's recommended that you don't post about those things. Pete here with the Small Business Resource Center. If you would like a copy of this, shoot me an email at support@smallbusinessresourcecenter.com. That's support, SUPPORT, at smallbusinessresourcecenter.com. Just write checklist for social media or something like that in the subject, and I will shoot you a copy of this back. Any questions? Comment below. Let me know what the questions are or what you need help with. Keep in mind this checklist actually is relevant for pretty much every type of social media, but I did write this for Facebook because a lot of people typically ask about Facebook. All right, have a great day.